Welcome back to another flight here on the Dre Sanchez YouTube channel, aka the Motivated Sim Pilot. Today we are here in Chicago O'Hare. We last flew in here in, I believe it was an E195 from Pittsburgh. Today we are going to be switching it up from passengers, and we are most certainly going to be flying a Boeing 747-800 cargo plane for Atlas Airlines. Our call sign is Giant 318. We are going all the way down to Los Angeles International Airport. The flight time is about 3 hours and 39 minutes. And as you can see here, we are here at the South Cargo ramp. With not many aircraft here, we are parallel to basically two of the primary runways, 10 left, and I believe it's 10 center or 10 right. Either way, here we are. We're about to jump on board, make it happen, and get this cargo to where it needs to go, because guess what? Christmas is coming up soon. Alright, so as you can see here, we are on the flight deck, cold and dark. Sorry, I had forgot to put my track IR stuff on. So now that that is on, let's go ahead and get out of here. There is ATC, but it's only just the tower. So having said that, let's go ahead and start initializing the aircraft the way it should be. Let's go ahead and jump up top. As you see, everything is cold and dark. So let's go ahead and open up our battery switch here. Use the ground power that we already have, and of course let's get our nav lights on, and we'll get our logo lights on because it is slightly dark, and everything up here is off. Let's just make sure all of our lighting is as bright as it can be, and then also what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and put our IRS so that it can start aligning. And of course down here we want to go ahead and follow that by putting in our current location and GPS coordinates. So we're going to go here to, I guess I just wasted that on the scratch pad. I was on the wrong page. We're going to go over here and type in the airport. We're also going to get the GPS stuff. And let's see, we need to go back to, let's see here, mess that up royally. Let's go back to the menu, and then we're going to go to position, and then here we go back to that page. So there we go. IRS position is all set in. Let's see here, the airport is there, and this position is setting up. So we did that already, so now we can delete that out of the scratch pad. The IRS should be lining, and the only discrepancy between these waypoints is that's the center of the airport, and this is actually where we're at on the cargo route. So we'll allow that to continue to align. Sometimes it'll give us an indication of how long that's going to take. Packs generator off. Nonetheless, it is aligning. It normally does give us a amount of time that it does, but GPS position, and we already set that. Already been set, so that's good there. Just double checking that. So that should be on its way. In the meantime, let's come over here and look at our current situation. We needed about 89,000 kilos, or I'm sorry, 89,000 pounds of fuel. We put 90,000 just to be on the safe side. We have slightly a little bit in the center tank, and our outermost tanks we have nothing in there. So then let's also come over here to the payload, and we are going to put a percentage on the payload. So let's put about 80% on the payload, which makes sense, and then we'll load those settings. So now the actual aircraft will also adjust for the load itself, as well as the cargo, the fuel that we have on, and the cargo that we have in the cargo holds, which are currently being loaded. So we'll allow that to finish doing its thing. In the meantime, we can get started on the pre-flight checklist. So without further ado, we will come right on over here, and we want to put it right here on the checklist. And then now if we zoom in here, we've got our nice little checklist. First thing is oxygen tested. So let's go ahead and do that. The oxygen being tested is going to be right down here. Hang on, let me try to get my track IR fixed up. All right, there we go. For whatever reason, it was acting a little funny. Anyway, which is still May. We'll get through it. All right, so here's where we test the oxygen. All right, you guys heard that little hissing noise. That itself was the test. So now we can come here and parking brake, and the fuel control switches are cut off, and I'll show you where those are at. And the flight instruments, heading, altimeter, and all that, that's all zeroed out, and it's still not giving me the letting me pass the oxygen test for whatever reason. So let's do it again. It's giving me a hard time here. So we got to press the test and then reset. Now it should give us that oxygen test. There you go. So you have to literally be on it to where it can select it in order for it to register that it is done. Now, before start passenger signs, MCB, takeoff speed, CD, pre-flight, and all that, we will most certainly get all that stuff squared away. Let's jump up top. These are all of our fuel switches. These are our hydraulics, and of course, these are our generators here, which will automatically connect. Our isolation valves are open, and our packs are off. We'll turn them on once we get going. And so we need to make sure that these emergency lights are armed, which they are automatically. All right, let's line up here so we can get that closed back. Then of course we need to come down here to the lower pedestal, and we need to make sure our seat belts are put to auto, and that our power is on everywhere. We did get a squawk code, which we can go ahead and put in. We do have our pre-departure clearance from a PDC, which is a text style clearance approval from the tower, and they normally do that on VATSIM, so they don't have to worry about a bunch of people trying to get flight clearances while they're trying to do the tower. So our squawk is most certainly 3132. We'll put that in, but we won't do anything for that. And then again, we have been cleared to take off from this airport only with tower only. So that means for us that we will be able to just go ahead and type in flight level 360. We will climb unrestricted. We'll do a flight level change, set the speed, and go all the way up. Is what we will do. So let's get that squared away. All right, so there's 360. We're going to be taking off flaps 10, which the minimum or the maximum speed you can go at flaps 10 is 245, so we'll set it for 210. And then we are going to be turning on our flight directors, of course. And here in a second, we're going to get the ATIS. All right, so let's go ahead and get the ATIS. And here's the funny thing: the flight air traffic control just went offline, so they are no longer here. So that's fine for us, and it's reporting that they're still here, but it literally looks like they're not online anymore. It looks like they took off using my interface. So having said that, we are not going to worry about the ATIS right now as far as getting it through the aircraft or the VATSIM network. We're just going to go ahead and get the ATIS up here. Winds are out of the north at 340, so we will be taking off of a north-facing runway, and they're gusting to 24, so it's pretty crazy. The altimeter right now is 29094. Let's jump over to the first officer side. And that is already set there, which is perfect. Again, still waiting on the IRS to align. And I could have sworn last time it gave us a somewhere it gave us a time limit of how long it was going to take the IRS to align. I could be wrong. Let's see here. I thought it would have been on this panel. And that's also at 299.4, which is good. All right, so it's still aligning. While it's aligning, let's go ahead and start plugging in our route. I've never actually done that before, so let's see if that works. But even before we do that, all right, and I think because of the weather here, it's a little stuttery. But even before we do that, let's go ahead and plan our pushback, which we can go ahead and do now using the better pushback feature. And it looks like the IRS stuff came online, so we're moving right along. Let's pre-plan this pushback. And of course, we are just simply going to get pushed back here for an easy taxi. All right.
Ground to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
All right, we will be calling her through the menu when we are ready. The most logical runway for us to take off is going to be 10 left. It has 13,000 feet of runway. It should be more than enough wide for us to take off, so we will be leaving off on 10 left. So, having said that, let's go ahead and go into our route. And then again, we need to type in Chicago O'Hare. And then LAX is our destination. Today we are Giant 318, flying for Atlas Airlines. That is their call sign, is Giant, so that's pretty cool. All right, now we're gonna go to our departure. So we're gonna be leaving on 10 left. 4 left. Let's see. Oh, that's not what we want. Let's go back out here to departure. And then click departure again. There we go. Active runway is that. We don't want that active runway. We do want 10 left. All right, 10 left is there. It doesn't give us anything else. It doesn't even give us the basic SID or standard instrument departure from here, which is the, you know, O'Hare or whatever. It just goes straight into getting off on the runway, because those are basically VORs and vectors and stuff, and you do need air traffic control in order to figure that piece out when you're departing. So the plane doesn't even have it in there, because normally you'd be working with ATC anyway and should know how to read your charts. All right, so the first waypoint is Olin. November. Following Olin, we're going to go to Oreos. All right, and Sierra. After Oreos, we're going to Obene. That's Oscar, Bravo, Echo, November, Echo. After Obene, we're going to Ogale. After Ogale, we're going to Link, Lima, November, Kilo. And after Link, we're actually going to pick up a Jetway 146. And we'll be exiting that jetway at Golf Lima Delta. And then from Golf Lima Delta, we'll be in Colorado for sure at this time, because this is the Pueblo VOR, which I'm familiar with. Done some flying over there. Then from there, we pick up Jetway 64 to Rattlesnake. So we'll take Jetway 64 to Rattlesnake, which is Romeo Sierra Kilo. Then from Romeo Sierra Kilo, we go to Jace or Jassy. And then from Jassy, we're back on an airway of, let's see, where is my Quebec? Quebec 90. And then from Quebec 90, we're on over to De Niro. So let's see if we have any mafia type movies when we land. Haha, little pilot humor. And then we're going on the Angel 4. So we're going to come over here to our arrival, and we're going on the Angel to 4 with the De Niro transition. We're going to execute that. Back to the route. Let's activate that. Execute. Now let's just double check our route over here. And then now everything makes sense there. So now we can go to our performance initialization. There is our center of gravity, of course. And for our fuel reserves, we must reference the flight plan. We're looking at about 9 and 7, and we're looking at about 16,000 pounds of fuel. So we'll say we've got 15,000 pounds in reserves, and we are at flight level 360 today with a cost index of 45. So all that looks good there. We're going to go over to our next page. And let's see the cruise CG percentage. I don't think we need that. However, we do need to come over here. Here's our trims. We are taking off flaps 10 today. So we should have 7.8 on the trims. And we are significantly heavy. So 165 is V rotate, but we have plenty of runway to get up to that speed. Let's go back here and make sure that's all in reserves, zero fuel weight. And let's come back over here to our payload. Zero fuel weight is 654.9. We want to make sure total takeoff weight is 756,000 pounds. Total payload. So now if we come over here, we're making sure everything matches up, which it does. It gives us the correct percentage, which is 16.7% on the CG, which ultimately, again, as you see here, makes our takeoff trim with flap 10s 7.8. We're at 7.5 now, so we'll just lower it by 2 or 3 rather, and do that. But before we do that, we most certainly need to get the APU on and get all the systems initialized. And of course, we need to finish our MCP. Runway 10 left is a 93 heading. So we're going to come over here and type this heading into 93. Then essentially we'll vector ourselves on over to our first waypoint, which should be in the opposite direction. All right. All that is looking good. Flight director's on. We've got our altimeters good to go, and we've got our MCP virtually set up. So now we can come down here and still do some of this checklist. So we got passenger signs already, of course. So the MCP is set up. Takeoff speeds, CDU pre-flight is done. Now we're going to do our trims here in a second. But before that, let's go ahead and let folks know that the aircraft is going to be coming alive. And we can go ahead and start our APU now. We'll turn it to on. And then once we do, we'll get all of these onto auto for the pumps. Right now, the hydraulic pumps are currently off. Once that APU comes up, though, I'll get them on, and we will get a bunch of other stuff on that we need for our flight. So no worries there. All right, we waited long enough. APU is available. We're going to hit the APU available on. We're also going to turn the valve open for the bleed air. Now we can most certainly turn our hydraulic pumps on, of course. And let's go disconnect the ground power so we don't have that to worry about when we leave, and get the doors closed. So everything has been loaded up. So now we're just going to close these doors. Obviously, the ground team would normally do that. And we're going to disconnect this GPU, and the aircraft should be all buttoned up. And of course, let's go ahead and get our pushback started. Come right up in here, and we'll just have to use this interface instead of really calling them, and start the pushback.
Grounded cockpit. Tow is driving up.
All right, the tow is driving up. Let's see. And we have to remove the chocks here in a second. As you can see, the chocks are up. Parking brake is up. Let's get rid of those chocks. All right, chocks are removed. Parking brake is still up. hear that tow driving up, getting into place. Alright, in the meantime too, let's go ahead and start getting all of our fuel pumps on.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Alright, everything else up top looks good. We will turn our bleeds on once we get going. See the aircraft being lifted up. As they start pushing us back, we will probably go ahead and start the engine since there's 4 of them to start. Let's take a look at our taxi right here.
Tow connected and bypass
So
pin
this is
inserted.
our runway here.
Release parking brake.
Alright. Parking brake is released.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Alright, and we will most certainly take her advice on that. So if you come up here, we're going to pull that engine down, or that start open, and let's get this into where it says the engine, and you can see that's coming up. So let's go ahead and introduce fuel on that one. Alright. Once this gets pulled back in, we'll go ahead and start number 3, or the second in the sequence. See, we're pushing back here from the cargo area. So she's still pulled out. There we go. It takes them a while to come up. That's why we're starting this process. We're going to wait for this Int'l to get to about 20. Now we'll introduce fuel. We'll see the rest of everything come up here for the N1 and the exhaust gas temperature. Alright, you can see that engine slowly but steadily coming up. And they take a while on these
Operation
big engines
complete. Go ahead and set the
start
parking
up.
brake. Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Alright, so 3 is done. Let's get on to 2, or the third in the sequence. Alright, 20%. Introduce fuel. We should have some type of rotation on N1. Alright. Our pushback is complete. That'll give them plenty of time to get out of the way. We'll make sure we have a visual on them. And our taxi's easy today, guys. We're just going to take Quebec to Zulu. We'll hold short of runway
Tow is
10C.
disconnected
Cross
and
that.
bypass bin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time, and have a safe flight.
Just waiting on this to get popped back in. And let's start number 1, of course, which is the 4th engine in the sequence. Let's put this on legs page. 20%. All right. Got before the switch is coming on, let's get out there and see. There's the tug over here giving us the thumbs up that he is done pushing us back. Alright, and we're just waiting to hear that click come off. And then, folks, we are most certainly out of here. Still don't have any ATC here, which is completely fine with us. But we do have a squawk code. So let's come down here to our squawk and let's just turn our transponder on. And we heard that last notable click. And of course, we are on 122.8, which is also awesome. Okay, 1228. Good to go. And we also need to turn that on so that we can receive. That's the funny thing, it's already in the mic, but you got to actually click this on as well to also transmit. And if we had anything on 2, we would use this one to pick up 2. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and finish resuming everything that we need. All right, and it's telling me that the fuel overrides are off, which I thought was something that they were supposed to stay off. All right, let's turn that bleed off. Let's close the isolation valves, and we'll get the packs on, of course. And now we can turn the APU generator off, and then turn the APU off itself, and double check everything up top is still on. Isolation valves are closed. The engine bleed for the APU is closed, and everything else down here is most certainly on. All right, let's see here. Fuel override 3 and 2 off. So let's give it what it wants. It says fuel override 3 and 2 are off. So maybe we need to turn this on as well for the forward override and just make sure that expires or cancels itself out. It does. So now let's get our flap set to 10, and in the meantime let's also get our trims down to 7.8, which we have now, and let's set our flaps to 10, folks, and get our auto brake to rejected takeoff, make our announcements, and we're out of here. Alright, and of course we're doing an LNAV departure. And actually, you know what? We won't even arm that yet because we'll probably be on heading mode until we start making our turn to essentially come off the runway appropriately. And we'll probably just swing around all the way left, back on course direct to Olin, which is our first waypoint. All right, folks, so let's go ahead and get our taxi light on. We're also just going to go ahead and turn these runway taxi lights on, turn off lights on as well. And let's make sure we're clear. All right, and hopefully we don't have too much stuttering during this flight with all the traffic. O'Hare traffic, Giant 318 on taxiway Delta Delta, taxiing to runway 10 left via Quebec for O'Hare traffic. All right, so that call out's been made. Let's go ahead and get that parking brake released. Parking brake is released. Powering up to move this big creature down the taxiway. Again, super easy taxi. Once we hold short or get close to runway 10 Charlie, we will actually make another call out. All right, this big aircraft, we kind of swing out a little bit. You don't necessarily make your turn as you would another aircraft, because she's so big. Gotta make sure all the holiday shoppers get their holiday gifts on time, of course. Alright, so we're basically departing straight east. So we'll essentially make a nice left turn. And once we get up and get back on course, then we go direct to Olin. Like a little run-up area over there, perhaps. And flying time today is about 3 hours and 39 minutes. So we're going to be swinging pretty wide here. All right. Alright, so parking brake is set. Now let's come back over here really quick and just double check our checklist. Alright, checklist has been put back on here. Auto brake is set. Let's check the recall. Alright, recall has been checked. Flight controls, we should go ahead and do that now. We should have done before we push back, but now we're here. There's no rush hour. There we go. Alright, flight control check, full up, full down, aileron left, aileron right, rudder left, and rudder right. Alright, flight controls checks has been completed. Let's go ahead and get it back on our rusty dusty checklist here. And ground equipment is all clear, of course. If they weren't, we wouldn't even be where we're at. That one is checked. Flaps before takeoff. And then there you go. So the checklist is pretty much complete. So now let's double check our status page here. Good to go. Now I like to leave it on the engine page, simply because it's going to give us what other gauges. For example, down here we've got the oil pressure and a different couple of variables that we need to monitor, such as our Int'l fans and all that good stuff with the vibrations. So anyway, we are going to monitor that. Let's go ahead and get out of here. Overhead traffic, Giant 318 holding short runway 10 center. Will be crossing 10 center for departure on 10 left on Zulu for departure out to the east with a turn to the north for O'Hare traffic. Alright, so we did that. That's exactly what we're doing. We're going to depart east, make a left turn to the north, and we're out of here. So let's get our landing lights on now, of course. And let's get our strobes on over here. And folks, we are ready to do what we've came to do, and we just went ahead and got our auto throttles on. Alright, so essentially let's look left. We don't see anything on final. We'll double check the right as soon as we straighten ourselves up here. For immediate turn on runway 10 left, for immediate departure. Alright, that looks clear, which is all good to us. Alright, so we have Cleveland Center online. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to have to hold short of this runway. And now Cleveland Center's online, so let us slow it up here and get ready to talk to them. And you see that's the VATSIM life, which is a good one, but you know, nonetheless, it is a life that we have to be always staying to be ready to adapt for when they come online and follow all of their instructions. Okay, Cleveland Center is online, 134.9. Okay, so Cleveland Center is online, 1349. So let's just do a switcherooski. Cleveland Center, Giant 318, holding short runway 10 left on Zulu with a flight plan that's already been approved from the tower at which got off. Would you like us to switch our swap code, sir? Oh, you know what? And I don't even know what I'm saying. Cleveland Center is online. However, we don't need to be online simply because we're in Chicago airspace, so I don't even know why I was thinking that. So folks, you know what? We're still on our own. Let's get out of here. Alright. Parking brake is released. And again, I wouldn't worry about that if I was using real charts. You would just pilot edge, call the folks up. I know VATSIM can't do that because, again, it's a free network. But there's where, guys, if you want the real immersion to really be tested with your sim pilot skills, then you will not only use VATSIM, check final again since we had a little break. You're not only going to use VATSIM, you're going to use Pilot Edge as well. Alright, and as you can see, this runway's almost as narrow as the taxiway. Again, we got to make one of those very sharp turns to line up. Now, I usually do rather enjoy flying the smaller regional aircraft, especially for the simple reason I don't have to worry about, you know, any of those big turns or anything like that. Alright, folks. We are all lined up and ready to go. Gonna advance at 50%. Takeoff power is set. Got 80 knots. Wind's pushing us around here. It's those gusty winds. I got the yoke forward. Keep forward pressure on the controls.
V1. Rotate.
Alright.
V2.
And off we go. Those winds pushing us around. Positive rate. And I'm just flying the aircraft manually. Alright. Flaps up. Getting a little bit of that chop. Just going to continue to fly the aircraft manually here for a second. Alright, folks. Let's go ahead and go with our flight command. heading. And now let's go with flight level change. And we'll up that to 250. And let's get our range squared away here. Alright, so very kind of a bumpy takeoff. Those winds were gusting. Alright, landing gears up. Flaps are up and stowed. So we're going to get over the lake and then we'll make our turn. Let's let this aircraft continue to climb at its weight. Alright, I thought we were going to be able to have some view here. Alright, so we are heading basically 90 degrees. We're going to do a nice left turn. We're going to go north. Do a nice northern turn. Alright, and you can see our waypoint. We're going to continue that turn. Oops, not on the speed. Tricky when this plane is bumpy. We'll still keep that at about there. Now, of course, we're going to keep our turn going. As you can see now, we're basically going direct to our first waypoint. Alright, then here in a second, once we are on that intercept course, we will arm our lateral navigation, which we can do at this point.
Giant 3201, LA Center, requesting vectors back to LAX.
Giant 3201, okay, what's the issue, sir?
We're just having some navigational issues. To return to LAX, request vectors to dump fuel, if possible.
Okay, you want to hold somewhere and dump fuel?
We're having issues with our navigation system. We're unable to hold at this time.
Okay, how long do you need to dump fuel for?
I just need about 10 minutes.
Okay, Giant 3201, turn left heading 150, descend and maintain, followable 200.
150 and 200, Giant 3201.
P6 right, cross P6 right, Providence Park, clearance for 69.
So to be honest, I really don't know where we're landing, because look, the winds are out of the south. Normally they're right out of the west, like this, like it typically is, but look, they do change. So we may essentially be coming around. The disparity between runway 25 and 140 is obviously 110 degrees. So the opposite, same runway, but the opposite end of that same field for 25 right, which is 7 left I'm sorry, which would be 7 right, which is the same strip of runway as 25 left, is 70 degrees roughly, 71 degrees. So the disparity between 140 and 71, now you can look at that, that's less than 100. So that would be the ideal runway, even though there's crosswinds involved in there, because it is not landing directly into the wind.
American 722 leaving the airspace to the north, Salt Lake South Line, radar service terminated, frequent change crew, good day.
So,
Hey, 722, we're on our own, good night.
this ought to be
That's it.
an interesting arrival.
Mike Delta's radar contact out of 900, climb maintain 11,000.
11,000, Mike Delta.
So, not that we need to, because this aircraft, you don't even have to put any nav frequencies in there, which is the beautiful thing about this. Kind of like the Airbus, it's already going to have it on board. So once we program in the runway, essentially everything we need programmed for our landing, like we don't even mess with the course heading indicator or anything like that, which is pretty nice.
9318 at circus, cleared ILS 25 left approach.
Cleared ILS 25 left approach, Giant 318. Alright. So, again, we've got 25 left coming up.
0 Sierra X-ray, plan us straight into runway 31
As you
right.
can see, we're bleeding speed because
Yeah,
our
we'll
next
punch it in 31 right.
prerequisite is 280. So we are most certainly bleeding that speed. Let's make a concession here for our landing.
3201, descend to maintain 7,000, the altimeter 3011 again.
Alright.
7,000 now, Giant 3201.
Okay, let's come on over to the first officer side and just make sure we got 3001 in there for the altimeter. All right.
Mike Delta, clear direct to Mission Bay.
Direct Mission Bay, Mike Delta, thanks.
All right, we are going to go ahead and get our departure all figured out here. Circus is the last one.
Connected, Clay 5542 Heavy with you.
And we're going to come down here,
Cafe
do
5542
ILS 25 left.
Cathay 5542, altitude passing and assign, please.
Clay 5542 Heavy passing 4,200 feet.
Cathay
All right.
5542, ready to contact and
And
climb
after-
maintain 10,000.
Angel
1710,
Oil.
Clay 5542 Heavy. Center Southwest 1427, taxi, Charlie.
All right, now we have
Hello,
a
1427, runway 20 right, taxi Alpha Lima
absolute
cross runway 20
wonderful
left.
Alpha Lima cross 20 left,
arrival. We've got
14,
Angel, then Can, oil above 14, and it re-put our
850, descend to maintain, descend to maintain 7,000.
information in here so that we can start following everything all the way up to Lima,
7,000
which that'll be
for
5
850
nautical miles from the runway.
Cathay 5542, flighting 260 vectors for
So
traffic.
as you can see, the aircraft is continuing to bleed speed. Let's see, we should have hit
And 54 Lima, I'll get to you just a second.
frame,
And
so
the guy in the
we're a little
ground
bit
base,
above where we want to be.
American 850 airport's at your 2 to 3 o'clock in about 8 miles. You have it inside.
So I'm just going to go ahead and take it over manually now.
8 from 850, or 8 from 850, we have it inside.
American 850, clear visual approach runway 27.
Clear visual 27, 850.
This is 1427, climb maintain flight level 300.
Climb maintain flight level 300, Southwest 1427.
Alright.
Giant 3201, I gave you a turn, but I guess you didn't hear me. I'm going to have to put you behind company traffic at your 2 o'clock in about 10 miles. I'll have a turn for you shortly.
We're going to start slowing ourselves down here.
We're waiting for turn. Giant 3201.
Alright, Southwest 4765, the wind is 1804, runway 26 left.
Landing lights are on.
Runway 26 left, Southwest 4765.
Once we get
Go
closer,
to maintain 5000.
we will go ahead and
Maintain 5,000,
put our localizer back on.
Southwest 1427, clear direct to Oros.
Direct Rose, Southwest 1427, thank you, sir. Tower 420, sir. Actually, I just want to confirm we're clear to land 15.
So Senshi will get off, and we're going to the
420,
Imperial Cargo Complex. So we'll get off 25 left, get off anywhere left, and use Alpha all the way. Super easy
Right, clear to land 420,
taxi.
I'm sorry, the wind 3306, my apologies.
Alright. That's just simply letting us know we can take our brake back
Giant
off.
3201, turn right heading 160.
Right heading 160, turn 3201.
There we go. And of course, once I get to gate, we'll try to activate the ILS again.
Cardinal 57 Charlie, contact Oakland 132.2, wish him happy birthday for me.
Alright. Should be basically a straight in shot.
57 Charlie, we'll do that.
Now we have DMZ or DME
Giant
to the
3201,
airport.
continue the return heading 220.
So we should
220, Giant 3201.
be able to
3201,
activate
follow
the
the
localizer
company,
now, which we have, and it's already
74
captured.
at your,
And again,
2 o'clock
that's the
and
funny
8
thing
miles
about
out of,
LA
7000.
area. You have to
Look for traffic.
not put that localizer on too early.
321, flight 220 and join the runway 25 left
Now we're
localizer.
just straightening it out for the
220,
localizer.
join the 25 left localizer, Giant 3201.
American 850, contact San Diego Tower, or Limburg Tower, I'm sorry, 118.3.
Alright, so we got the localizer.
183 for American 850, great job, and have a good night.
See you, thanks guys.
Alright, let's continue to bring that speed down. We'll go ahead and get our approach speed
And
down.
was it Southwest 2291 or American looking for clearance? I'm sorry guys.
Let's go ahead and check what that approach speed was. So now we can come over here, initial ref, and 155. So our approach speed is essentially 160. So we can go ahead and make concessions for 160 now.
Giant 318, the wind is 1404, runway 25 left, clear to land.
Runway 25 left, cleared to land, Giant 318.
And Giant 3201, traffic's now 2 o'clock and 8 miles out of 5,200. You got it in sight?
We don't have the traffic
Alright,
inside
now
as
we're
of yet.
slowing up.
It's a little foggy for us, Giant 3201.
Okay, it's dead and clear tonight, but you're not joining the localizer. Turn right heading 290.
290, Giant 3201.
Alright.
21 Mike Echo, left
Flying
turn
our
heading
flaps, of course.
090.
Turn 090 for 1
We can go flaps 10 at
Mike
this point.
Delta, maintain 5,000.
Got a 5,000, time Mike Delta.
Let's bring our approach speed down to where it's supposed to be.
757 looking for lower.
As you can see,
No,
we're
Jet
continuing to
327,
bleed
maintain
speed.
7,000, my apologies.
7,037 up front.
And the Santa Barbara altimeter is missing for right now. If you got it
Here's the
plugged in, I
field
can't
over
pull it
here.
up there
Here's
for some
25
reason.
left.
We got Santa Barbara weather notes. LA Center, southwest 1705. We're 14 east, correction, west of Enoch, flight level 320.
Alright.
Oh boy.
And we're going to be adding some more drag here in a
1705
minute.
to contact, flight level 320, squawk 7254. How you doing?
7254, 1705. We're doing well. How about yourself?
Oh boy. Can I make your price off now?
Alright. Still got our flaps
At
deployed.
3201, any luck on
We're
that
doing
traffic?
great.
Still 10 o'clock and 8 miles.
up the localized ground down 3201.
Okay, thanks.
Alright, and we're still above. We've got our stuff set to 1900. Once we
Okay, sounds good.
get ourselves balanced out right there.
Southwest 1705, code direct zig.
Alright. Starting to nose up.
Southwest 4765, welcome to Vegas, right terminal, cross 26 right, Bravo to the gate.
Now we will naturally match that speed and stay here, and you'll see this start dropping.
As well.
Alright, we got landing gear deploying at
Mike
this point.
Echo, San Diego Airport, 2 o'clock, 10 miles.
Airport is in sight for 1 Mike Echo.
Mike Echo, clear visual approach, runway 27.
Clear visual approach 27, 1 Mike Echo.
5 Mike Delta, say your indicated airspeed.
Alright, just checking our flap speed. Flaps 30, 155. We'll go down one more. Our final stage of flaps, of course.
5 Mike Delta, say your indicated airspeed.
We're slowing to 250 right now, 5 Mike Delta.
That's a smart answer. What's your airspeed?
Alright.
270, you got me, 5 Mike Delta.
5 Mike Delta, no
Gear
problem.
is
We're
down.
210, flighting
As you
090.
can see,
Alright,
have
heading
the gear
090 down to
indicated down. We are
210,
flaps
5 Mike
full.
Delta. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Now the
3201, you're all over
aircraft
the
is
place,
in line
sir.
3,
You got the 25 left.
but you guys know we're not doing that.
We have the field in sight now, down 3201.
Alright,
Even better. Clear visual approach,
we're
runway
going to take
25
the
left.
aircraft ourselves.
Clear visual 25 left, sorry, Berlin navigation, start 3201.
No worries.
Alright,
Roger,
aircraft.
327 heading 160.
160, 327.
there is no way I would ever land this automatically, even though it can. As you see, we were set up for that. We're just going to follow our prescribed descent here.
1,000.
1,000.
Elite 447 cross Merma at 14,000. The John Wayne altimeter is 3010.
3010, Berlin, 14,000, 3447.
Giant 3201, the wind is 1404, runway 25 left, number 2 clear to land.
Clear to land number 2, Giant 3201.
Alright. We will most certainly get off the runway as soon as possible because we do have traffic behind us. Alright, nice and easy. We are right at our approach speed.
So the
ERAF
1705
is
didn't
only
know if I
5
give you
nautical
crossing at
miles.
2000. You can delete the speed. The Vegas altimeter is 3024.
Alright, getting a little bit of wind.
400.
Right.
300. 200. 100. 50. 40. 30.
Yep,
20.
didn't forget about you. Got a bunch of guys in the air,
10.
dude. I'm sorry about that. I'll get right back to you. VFR is the lowest priority. Back at 1241.
Alright.
Did you get your clearance yet? I didn't remember giving it to you.
Still bleeding speed. Coming up on 80 knots. 80 knots. Reverse free.
Okay, stand by.
Alright.
Doing Mike Echo, contact Lindbergh Tower on 118.3, good night. So, 5 Mike Delta, traffic to follow is at your 2 o'clock and about 11 miles out of 3200, a citation jet. You got him in sight?
Yeah, 5 Mike Delta has a traffic in sight.
5
Alright.
Mike Delta, very good.
Taking
Follow that
a-
traffic coverage, approach 27.
Nice little left here.
Alright, follow the citation on final for 275 Mike Delta.
Giant 318, left turn there, contact ground point 75, good night.
Left turn and over to ground for Giant 318. You have a good night as well.
Yep.
All right, folks.
Jet 327 left turn ending 070, descend and maintain 4000.
070 down to 4000.
All right, we'll just kind of coast along here, and we'll get on ground. And ground frequency is 121750. Los Angeles ground, Giant 318 on Alpha.
Giant 318 heavy, Los Angeles ground, safe parking.
We'll continue to head on Alpha. We're looking for Imperial Cargo Complex.
Giant 318 heavy, Alpha Alpha 1 to the ramp. Have a good night.
Alpha Alpha 1 to the ramp. You have a good night as well, and happy holidays to you, Giant 318. Alright, you can see another Atlas Air coming in. This is a major hub. So we are gonna come down here and most certainly get ourselves involved in some of these gates. Again, thanks for flying along with us on this awesome flight here into from O'Hare to Los Angeles. Looks like there's another 747 right there. There he goes, fellows Atlaser. Honk honk if we had a horn. That's exactly what we did. And looks like he's moving down the runway, getting his brakes on. Too funny. Busy times here. Anyway, it was a pretty uneventful flight. No weather. You know, a few clouds. Believe it or not, as this flight was in the air and I was monitoring VATSIM, I was able to clean my bathroom, fold some clothes, and get some necessary work around the house. So, of course, my wife is never upset when I'm able to get things done as I'm enjoying my hobby. Getting some brownie points there. Alright, so essentially we will get to the ramp area. And we're going to go all the way Alpha 1. As prescribed.
Ground, Giant 3201, clear of 25 left on Uniform Alpha, joining Alpha.
And we got him
Giant 3201, Los Angeles ground.
coming right behind us.
Crest taxi to Imperial Cargo.
Giant 3201, continue Alpha Alpha 1 to the ramp behind company traffic.
Alpha Alpha 1 to the ramp behind company traffic, Giant 3201.
Alright, and that's that same Atlas aircraft following me. Good to be back on the West Coast after our venture out east. We will most certainly see when we do that again, but I did enjoy it. Alright, let's slow our approach speed here. We got Alpha 1 coming up. I don't see any other inbound traffic. So let's get into this cargo area. Get ourselves parked. I'm going to try to use the gate furthest out. That way company traffic has an opportunity to get himself in there as well.
And LL006 Heavy, you can contact Center, pardon me, 125.8, see ya.
Tower 1258, have a great evening, thank you, allow 006.
Alright, we'll just come on down. As promised, we're gonna go to the last one, give the other feller enough time to do what he needs to do. Alright. Slow our approach speed here. Coming right into 7. And for whatever reason, my auto gating with these folks here is not working appropriately. He should be giving me some hand signals. Oh, there we go. I lied to you guys. It is working. Alright. We'll go out here in a second and take a peek and see where this other guy's at. I'll hit the approach really slow. I'm just sitting up in my seat. Nice and easy. Alright. Let's not hit the guy. Alright, we're going to assume that's good enough. Parking brake is up. We are going to go turn our transponder off, of course.
$500. $400. $300. $200. $100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
knots.